Okay, you've got this. Just breathe. You know why. You've practiced your answers. Just don't mess up. Don't blank. Please just don't blank. That was me not too long ago, sitting outside my PA school interview, heart racing, overwhelmed, trying to pull it all together. For many pre PA students, this isn't just nerves, it's anxiety, and it can deeply affect how they show up to one of the most important days of their journey. We prepare students academically and professionally, but we often overlook their emotional readiness. The stress of the interview process can chip away at confidence, and for some, become barriers. So I ask, what if we supported the person, not just the performance? Today, our team will share how we created space for pre PA students to manage anxiety, access mental health support, and approach interviews with confidence, not fear. So here we go.
So we conducted this research to help pre-PA students that are experiencing anxiety, particularly with the pre-PA school application process. And speaking for myself, the pre-PA application process was a high-stress time in my life. I felt like I had little guidance, and this stress is just heightened for those that have anxiety. And it is common for pre-PA students to experience increased anxiety during the interview and application process, which can significantly impact their mental well-being and preparedness. So, through our research and our intervention, our goal is to provide pre PA students with tools to help reduce their anxiety throughout the application process. And these tools included anxiety management strategies, connecting these pre PA students with accessible community mental health resources, and helping these students feel more confident to navigate PA school interviews. Utilize different research articles to help guide our intervention, and this first one highlighted the value of mock interviews in preparing students for professional programs. In this study, there were 19 participants that were health professional students, and they participated in mock interviews that were conducted and recorded through a web based meeting, which is like a Zoom call. And following the mock interviews, the participants' confidence and preparedness significantly improved in their virtual interviews. Additionally, their anxiety decreased significantly after virtual interviews. This guided our intervention because it indicated that mock interviews could also potentially reduce anxiety for the pre PA students. The second article examined the role of a stress reduction elective on second year medical students. And the goal of this research was to measure the efficacy of stress reduction electives, such as this one titled Mind Body Medicine, an experimental elective. And its goal was also to assess the sustainability of any noted improvement. The study group included students that had anxiety and were enrolled in the elective, and the control group was not enrolled in the elective and did not have anxiety. The study group noted that there was a decline in their anxiety while in the elective, and that this decrease in anxiety was sustained for 3 months following the course. This research supports our research because it shows us that there are ways to combat the challenges of anxiety via a mind body elective class.
So, for our project, a few things regarding health literacy. We utilized resources that are clear and concise and easily understood by people from diverse socioeconomic backgrounds. We utilized different forms of communication to accommodate different learning styles for those that potentially would have learning deficits or people that maybe are more visual versus written versus auditory. So, we did written, we utilized Google Forms. In person, we did a pre-test that was more interactive, and then we utilized electronic materials as well. Our intervention presentation in PDF had a PDF, obviously PDF format, which was easy to distribute and access for our targeted audience. And then we also wanted to remain consistent, so we utilized the PDF format instead of Word docs, which can be modified. We tried to make it as aesthetically pleasing as possible, so we tried to make it such that it was visually pleasing, that it was able to be understood and was clear with while also not being boring and plain. Utilize large fonts as well. We also demonstrated, so we utilized presenting the box breathing and how that is able to be done in person. Um, And we also presented some cost-free methods because we know pre-PA students do not have access typically to a lot of financial support at times. Making minimum wage, at least I know that I did, as a medical scribe. And we made sure that our words were limited to 3 syllables maximum. And we encouraged questions during our Q&A sessions as well.
We truly embrace cultural humility, recognizing that every pre-PA student brings a unique cultural background that shapes how they experience and manage stress. Our diverse team brought together a wide range of perspectives, which empowered us to genuinely connect with and support students from all walks of life. With this in mind, we curated intentionally a variety of mental health strategies, ensuring that every student could discover an approach that felt right for them. By celebrating diversity in our anxiety reducing technique, we aim to make mental wellness accessible, personal, and meaningful for everyone through a student-centered approach, ensuring all students can find techniques that resonate with their backgrounds.
During our study, we made sure to use trauma-informed practices. We created a safe space by allowing students to share their thoughts anonymously, which allowed students to be more open and honest about their feelings. We used thoughtful language and were sure to use kind and sensitive words to avoid upsetting or excluding anyone. We built trust by using efforts that made the students feel safer and more comfortable and improved engagement. As a result, more students trusted us and felt encouraging to use our mental health resources that we recommended. We also fostered inclusion, and our approach made every student feel respected and included.
Thank you, Armani. When we began this project, we knew that anxiety during the PA school interview process doesn't affect everyone the same way. Our research included data and case studies that reflected diverse experiences across race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, and socioeconomic backgrounds. Our team itself represents a wide range of lived experiences as PA students, which allowed us to design support that's not just inclusive, but intentional. We didn't assume a one size fits all approach because we know that being a first gen college student or coming from a low income background can create unique barriers. So we developed targeted interventions that speak directly to those needs, providing resources, mentorship, and strategies that meet students where they are. Our goal is simple: to inspire and empower applicants from all communities to feel confident that they belong in the PA profession and that they can find mentors who truly understand their path. Because representation isn't just powerful, it's necessary.
Our goal was to promote mental well-being by integrating practical mental health resources and techniques into pre-PA journey. By providing education and resources, we empowered applicants with tools to manage stress and anxiety throughout the interview process. Our intervention normalized discussions about the emotional and mental toll of the PA application process. Our plan was to create a space where applicants feel comfortable seeking support and sharing their experiences by fostering an open and supportive community. We demonstrated the value of this project to the USC Pre-PA Pathways team, advocating for their involvement as a community partner. Their insights and feedback enhanced our presentation, intervention, and resource handbook, ensuring that our efforts effectively address the mental health challenges pre-PA students face.
All right, now let's talk results. We found that anxiety levels worsened by nearly a point after the intervention, but really this wasn't a significant shift. We also found that mental well being improved significantly with an increase of about 1.5 points, suggesting that this intervention had impact beyond maybe just the interview prep. So, in regards to anti anxiety techniques that were mentioned, we found that exercise and support systems were core strategies. Then, following that, it was deep breathing and mindfulness, reframing from negative thoughts, and talk therapy following after. Looking at this graph on the right, this suggests that the intervention likely educated and empowered our students to use a more diverse set of techniques in order to manage anxiety. So, from our sample size of pre-PAs, we found that the most common ways of reducing anxiety was mock interviews, breathing techniques, diet, and exercise. In regards to resources in the community that they use, most common ones were therapy, counseling, exercise, and fitness. So, from our presentation, the pre-PAs really understood that there's a lot of resources out there for interview prep. So, the most commonly mentioned techniques were mock interviews and practice techniques, with an emphasis on self recording and body language. Mentorship was commonly mentioned with a detail on specific programs, as well as online content such as YouTube and TikTok. We found a significant reduction in NA responses, which shows an increase in the confidence and knowledge of available resources, and a major sign of the impact of our intervention. So, something we're very proud of as a group is that many of our pre-PAs felt a lot more confident after our intervention. The biggest shift was seen when students moved from slightly confident to moderately confident, and this suggests that the intervention helped boost self assurance. The absence of students feeling not confident in the post survey is a positive outcome, and it shows that at least a basic level of confidence was achieved for everyone.
Our post test survey received strong feedback, with 100% of participants saying that they found the intervention to be helpful and would recommend it to another pre PA student, a clear indicator of the workshop's value and impact. Our project made a real difference. After the intervention, students said that they felt less anxious and their mental well being got better. On average, anxiety dropped by almost 1 point and mental health scores went up by about 1.5 points. Students also started using more healthy strategies like positive thinking, mindfulness, and healthy eating a lot more than before. For example, positive thinking went from 0 students to 15. Confidence levels improved too. Many students moved from feeling just slightly confident to moderately confident. Mock interviews were still seen as super helpful, but more students also talked about using box breathing and healthy habits after the intervention. We also noticed students added new tools to help themselves, like using social media for support, for reaching out to mentors. They still value things like therapy and exercise to manage stress. Before the project, students talked about their own therapies. After, they mentioned general therapy like CBT, which shows they learned more about helpful options. A really great result was that no students said that they felt not confident after the project. Most students felt at least moderately confident. A few even became more realistic, moving from very confident to moderately confident, which still shows growth. Overall, the progress helps students feel stronger, more prepared, and ready to handle their stress.
As with any project, we faced a few challenges along the way. First, scheduling meetings with pre-PA students was tough. To fix this, we suggested planning dates earlier and using tools like polls to find best times. We also looked into virtual options to increase flexibility. Second, we realized the time we had with students was limited, so we created a shorter version of our content and provided follow up materials for continued support. Lastly, we found that research on anxiety in pre PA students is pretty limited. To address this, we pulled from related studies and even gathered our own data to help fill that gap. Each obstacle pushed us to think more creatively and ultimately made our project stronger. Next is Carrie.
What we liked about our project, we saw a real measurable improvement in anxiety among our pre-PA participants. Before and after the workshop, we collected data and the difference was clear. One of the most powerful elements was our interactive workshop and Q&A. Students weren't just listening to strategies, they were experiencing them. And they walked away with tools they could use immediately in interviews, but also in everyday life. Our second star was our inclusive approach. We led this workshop through the lens of cultural humility, trauma-informed practices, and a strong focus on equity and inclusion. Our goal wasn't just effectiveness, we also wanted accessibility. We wanted every student, regardless of background, to feel seen, supported, and empowered, and they did. Many participants shared that they felt more confident after the session. Our workshop made a meaningful impact, but we wish to expand its reach even further. We would want to refine our approach based on student feedback and make sure our content continues to reflect the real-life experiences of pre-PA students, especially those from underrepresented and underserved backgrounds, because every future PA deserves the mentorship, support, and tools to succeed. Our call to action: let's continue to advocate for our future colleagues. We're calling on current PA students, practicing PAs, faculty, and pre-PA organizations to take part in making mental health support a standard part of the PA school admissions and interview process. Imagine how different the future of our profession could look if students started their journey feeling not just prepared, but supported. This is how we build a more inclusive, empathetic, and resilient PA community. But support alone isn't enough. We also need data, so more research on this topic can help. When we understand the challenges, especially for students from disadvantaged or underrepresented backgrounds, we can advocate for lasting change in the admissions process. And that's how we open more doors and make sure our profession reflects the diverse communities we serve.